Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back. Final few minutes with Amanda Jenkins of The Chosen. Of course, the wife of Dallas Jenkins, the daughter-in-law of Jerry Jenkins. Just those two associations alone, Amanda, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot just to take in right there in the writing, in the TV and movie direction alone. But somehow you've held up, and the Lord is sustaining you. And as we were talking in the last segment, sometimes through tough seasons. I was just contemplating the correlation to season 4. I was kind of rerunning it in my head as you were talking. And one of the things I think that Jonathan Rumi does really good in trying to define the character of Jesus for us better on screen is that it would be funny if it wasn't so sad, but there's almost this element of Jesus in this time where he's just so frustrated with the knuckleheads that he's been trying to get through to for the last 2 years, and that they don't understand what they don't know. And even after he raises Lazarus from the dead, there's that scene of he and Lazarus sitting alone talking, and even Lazarus doesn't get it. Like there's just this there's this big hurt in his heart for all the crud that they are about to go through, and Jesus sees it and knows it and wants to do everything he can to help prepare them for it. He can't, other than just to tell them what he tells them. But in life, a lot of times, Amanda, we're kind of like those knuckleheads. No, yeah. I mean, sometimes the suffering comes from things that are outside of us, but sometimes we create our own suffering in really questionable choices or bad decisions. And yet the kind of faithfulness of who Jesus is that he's still there. No matter how frustrated it may be, he's still loving us. He's still hoping for us. He's still pulling for us. He's still comforting us in that process. And I thought that was well expressed in the season 4 as it was shown in The Chosen.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit the thing that makes the show really special and why it's been such an honor to be a part of is that it puts eyeballs to these stories of Jesus. It puts the right emphasis on the correct syllables so that as we're reading the black and white text of scripture, we start to go, oh, okay, I'm understanding better. I'm making a heart connection with what those words actually mean. And the heart connection is always, always that Jesus identifies with our suffering.
Yeah.
Jesus identifies with us as people. He was God, but he was also fully human. And so he experienced all those things that we experience, including our hardest things. And I do think we are knuckleheads. I'm amazed
I know I am.
my own inability to learn a lesson and hold it. And so I've become very thankful for scriptures that talk about how God holds us, that it's actually not, we catch and release. And as I am learning slowly but surely over time, he's super faithful to remain present in my process. But we are slow. And I do think that's what this season shows is how alone he was in that, where he actually didn't receive much comfort at all from any of the people around him because they were too hard-headed to understand. And some of their hard-headedness came from their own desire to not hear. And I think there are times in my own life where I just don't want to hear an answer that isn't the one I would have chosen.
Yeah.
And so I think what we're seeing is so beautifully portrayed in the show, and what is in this Bible study that we just had the privilege of being able to write and experience on our own, is that our suffering and slowness is met with a love we do not comprehend. Mm-hmm. And so I lose my understanding of the lessons in suffering as fast as I lose the vastness of his love. And so I think the show does a really good job of being a constant reminder of that. I'm in it, I'm with you, and I love you, and I understand things you don't understand about what's coming. And that's true for us in our own circumstances too. And so that's what the Bible study really sought to focus in on and just really help us to understand his nature alongside all the things that we're experiencing here.
The name of the study is God's Goodness for the Chosen, an Interactive Bible Study, Season 4. In an optimum way, Amanda, how should people use this? Should they rewatch and study corollarily? Like how does it interact with the content of Season 4?
In the beginning of every single lesson, we enter in with an excerpt from the show, a script excerpt, and then we leave it with a script excerpt. So we are really focusing on how the themes show up in each episode. So you absolutely can go watch an episode and then sit down and kind of take your own heart apart, in it and go, how am I actually interacting with this? And the
Better
thing I love
for
about
individuals or for groups, ideally.
I think it's really good for individuals. It can be used as both. It's a little dense, and there's a little bit of personal reflection that happens. So that would need to be ahead of time, but there's group discussion, questions throughout the book as well.
The Chosen Season 4 has its own interactive Bible study called God's Goodness for the Chosen. Amanda Jenkins, its co-writer. Thank you for being with us tonight. As always, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Kevin McCullough coming back from Times Square when we continue.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.